Jai Hind teachers. Through this video, I wish to share my ideas regarding creating a Google form through the Android phone. Google Form is a free online tool in Google. So, it is an easy way to assess the students in between the online classes. Let us see how we can create a Google form. Hindi Google, type forms.google.com. Click Google Forms sign in. Those who have a problem at this stage need to give an email ID and password to clear the sign-in issue. Now, an untitled form is available for you. You can see two options below the untitled form as questions and responses. Now, I am going to give the 3 stages to create the Google form and collecting the responses. So, among the questions and responses, you need to take the questions at first. Now, in this you need to type the questions and we can select the responses after finishing or after getting the response from the students. Before starting, at the top of the screen, you can see an icon just like the watercolor cakes of the kids. I am going to select it, and that is the themes option. Google has some preloaded themes options, and you can select the desired one from the choose image. Too much images are available now. Select the appropriate one which is suitable for your form. I am going to select one theme, this one. After choosing, you need to click at insert that theme along with the theme color. Now gets activated and click on apply. You can see the change in your Google form corresponding to the header you selected and the basic colors already loaded in it. Now, select the untitled form and type as the header Dr. GR Public School. Now, below that you can see a form description. I am going to give a form description as an online assessment. Whatever you want that you can add online assessment. Now it is time for us to type the questions one by one. Click on the plus sign inside a circle in the left corner of the screen. In the bottom left corner of the screen, you can see a plus sign inside a small circle. That is the option you need to take to select or to add a question. I am going to click on it to add a question. The first question we need to type in the Google form is the name of the student. Name of the student. And remember, the name of the student is to identify the child, and among the options available in the drop down menu, you need to choose the short answer option so that 2 lines are available for the sender to type his or her name. After typing the name of the student option, you need to activate the required options or required field. Why? Because it is a compulsory field that the child need to enter his name. If you select it as required, the child can't move further or to select the next question without answering the question name of the student. Okay, now I am going to add the next question. Again, choose the plus sign in the small circle at the bottom. Second question is available now. My second question and the important question is to identify the class of the student. Now in the class, among the drop down list, I am going to select drop down. Options are available. Now one by one you need to type the option. My first option is typing as 8A, class 8A. Then again click on add option and type as class 8B and add option class 8C. In this way, how many classes you want, all those class names you need to type 8D. If you want, you can add one more. And remember, that is also a compulsory field. Why? Because the same name students can be in different divisions. So for to identify the division of the student and to collect the mark as per the division wise, you need to select the required field. So these two are two required options or required field for the student that the child need to enter, and without typing the option or without selecting the option, he or she can't move to the next question. Now it is time for me to type the questions for the assessment. Now I am going to take it as a new section. For to take a new section, select the double column option at the bottom right, so that two sections are now available. Section 2 of 2 is the new section, and section 1 is the section 1 of 2 is the section in which you need to collect the name of the student as well as the class alone. In section 2 of 2, I am going to type my questions. But in the section 2, untitled section, I am going to tap as and enter as class 8 science. Class 8 science. And if you want, you can give a description, an MCQ test or a test based on chapter 1. A test based on chapter 1. Okay. Now, before going to start the typing of questions, the foremost thing is you need to change the settings options. How to set it as a quiz? By giving marks, and the students can see the marks as soon as they submit the form. All these we need to change in the settings before starting the typing of questions. For that, again you need to move at the top of the screen. You can see 3 dots available at the top of the untitled form or near to the letter S. A 3 dots you can see. Click it and you can see the settings option. In the settings, general option you need to look at first. Collect email addresses. I don't wish to activate that. Why? Because without typing the email address, the child can't answer the quiz question. So I don't wish to select it. Require sign-in in that limit to 1 response that I am going to select. Limit to 1 response means that a student can't submit more than 1 form. And don't select the edit after submit and see summary chart. This is the only option you need to select in the general settings. Limit to 1 response only. Respondents will be required to sign in to Google. That is a must option. That is for the respondent also. Now, after this, you need to come to the presentation settings. In the presentation settings, some options are available. Show progress bar and shuffle question order. I am going to select the shuffle question order so that the order of the questions of one student may not be the same as the order of the question of the other student. Each and everyone will get the shuffled question. Now I am going to move to the last section, quizzes. It is a compulsory section for to set it as a quiz form. In the quizzes settings, you need to select or click make this a quiz. You need to activate make this a quiz option. In this, you can see immediately after each submission, release grade immediately after each submission or later after manual review. I am going to select it as immediately after each submission means that as soon as the child submits the form, he or she can see his or her grade corresponding to the test. And these three options also I am going to activate. The missed questions the child needs to see, the correct answers the respondent need to see, and the point value means the marks also the child need to see. So thus I changed all the settings before starting the typing of questions. Now I am going to save these settings. Now it is time for us to type the questions one by one. Move to the section untitled question. Question 1 I am going to type question number 1. The question 1 is, suppose that I am going to type a question based on the chapter 1 in the science. Question number 1. The same kind of plant, the same kind of plants grown and cultivated on a large scale. This is my first question. On a large scale at a place is called dash or is called. The answer you need to give. Okay, now I am going to select among the drop down list. I am going to select as multiple choice. Multiple choice. I am going to add the options here as float. Option 2, again click add option. Option 2, water. And I'm going to add the third option as crop. And I'm going to add the fourth option as nutrients. How many options you want? All those options you can give. And I am going to add the next option as preparation. Okay, that I add 5 options for the first question. Now, the foremost thing is that after adding all the options, you need to give the correct answer as well as the marks. Now you can see in the bottom left corner, you can see a small tick mark inside a box. That you need to select or click so that you can see or you come at 0 points. This shows the mark of that question. I am going to select that points and going to type the mark as 1 mark. 1 mark. Now, among these I know which is the answer. The same kind of plants grown and cultivated on a large scale at a place is called crop. I am going to select the crop and disable the float. This is the correct answer. So, after submission, the child can see the correct answer along with the correct mark also. If you select like this, Google will automatically evaluate the sheet or the paper or evaluate this first question in such a way that if the answer selected by the child is cropped, he will get 1 point. Otherwise, he will get 0 point only. Now, you need to click on done. Now, your first question is over. You said the first question. You need to add the second question. For to add the second question, okay, done. I am going to add the second question. For to add the second question again, click on the plus sign inside the circle, small circle on the left corner. That is the option for to add a question. Okay, I am going to click it. Now, you need to type question number 2. Okay, question number 2. The first step. Write another question I can give. Which among the following is a kharif crop? Is a kharif crop. Okay, I am going to give some options here. Multiple choice itself. Option 1 as paddy. Option 2 I am going to add as wheat. Option 3 I am going to add as pea. How many options you want that you can give? Suppose the last option is none of these, that you can add none of these. Okay. For this question also I need to give the mark. For to give the mark, what you want to do? Click on the tick mark in the left corner. Now you can see the points option. I am going to give the mark for that. Once again, it doesn't get selected. Okay, click on it. Yes, now you come at the point. That's 0 points. I am going to give the mark as 1 mark. But among this, I know the answer as paddy, so I am going to select it, paddy, the answer, and click done. In this way, you can add the questions, then give the points, and select the right answer. The form, you can see at the top, you can see the total points 2. The total 2 points, so 2 questions are here with 2 marks. The points are available here now. Thus, the first stage is over. The first stage means that typing of questions and creation of the form is over. Now, after finishing all these questions, the next stage is to send this Google form to the students through the WhatsApp. How to do that? Again, come at the top. You can see an arrow mark at the top just before the 3 dots. Click on it. You commit the send form option. The first box is collect email address. I don't want. Why? Because it is difficult for me for collecting all the email addresses. If want, you can collect it. Okay. If want, you can check it. Then I don't want that, so I am going to disable it. Collect email address. Next is the second option in the send via. That is the second option in which the link of the Google form is available here now below the word link. And below that you can see a box as shorten URL. Shorten URL, if you click, the link gets shortened. After shortening the URL, on the right part you can see a copy option. Click on it. The URL now gets copied. What you want to do that? The copied link, you know, to give it to the students, take it, and through the WhatsApp, I am going to send send it through the WhatsApp in my class, in the group of the mathematics teachers. I am going to send it. Okay, click here and you have to paste the forms option. If you send it, you can see that the Google form now is available for the students in the WhatsApp. A child who gets the link, when selecting, he can enter the Google form for to answer the questions. So this is the form available for the student now. Email address, why asked? Because we selected there as collecting of email address. Then without typing this, if you click, if the child clicks on the next option, it won't move. Why? Because you already selected this as a required question. So email address, so no need to collect the email address. Now the students will send the responses through this form. Now again we can come to the last stage to collect the responses of the students through this Google form again. Suppose that you send the Google form by 8 a.m. and the test time is up to 9:30 a.m. Your question is now in the drive. Come to the drive. Click here. Click resend. The untitled form, too much forms already set by myself are available there. Okay, you can see that form here now. If you want to disable the option of collect email address, you can disable it so that the email address won't ask to the students. Okay, so I think better to disable that. Now, what do you want to do that? It is time for you to collect the responses from the students. Suppose that 5 or total among the 40 students of your class, 30 or 35 students only submitted by 9:30 and the rest 5 more students remains. If you need to be very sharp in the setting of the timing, click the responses option. Here you can see 0 responses. Why? Because no one submit the response for my form, that is why. Here you can see 35 responses if 35 students submitted the form. Now here you can see unaccepting responses. You need to select it for to disable that. Now it gets disabled and a message you can see as not accepting responses. And the message for the respondents is that this form is no longer accepting responses. So a student after 9:30 a.m. will get this message that this form is no longer accepting responses and the form submitted by the student may not be available for you as soon as the student can't send the form to you. Why? Because you stopped the accepting of responses by selecting this. So by 9:30 a.m. you need to enter the form again and disable the accepting responses option. Now you can see how many students responded in the number of responses column. Here 0 responses. Suppose 35 students responded, then you can see the 35 responses. Okay. Now how to collect the marks? You can see a green plus symbol here. If you click it, you can see create a new spreadsheet and select existing spreadsheet. It means that all the marks along with the questions that will be saved in the Excel file. And if you create a new spreadsheet, if you click it and create, you can see an Excel file here as no responses are available. Excel file in which the name of the student comes here, the class will come here, and the score of the student come here along with all the questions. The mark of each question is available in the Excel itself. Hope all of you get a clear idea. Thank you.